My name is Jennifer, and I knew Thanksgiving would be exhausting, but I didn't expect it to become the moment that exposed my family's true colors. The room was warm, full of laughter, pie still cooling on the counter, when my mother lined up 7 crisp envelopes for her special surprise. One by one, every grandchild was called forward, except my son, Marcus. The silence hit harder than any insult. My mother smiled like nothing was wrong, like excluding him wasn't cruelty dressed as tradition. But what she didn't realize was this. The boy she dismissed was hours away from becoming headline news and her downfall. The envelopes looked almost unreal, so perfectly crisp and bright against the dark wood of the coffee table. They sat in a neat row like little white soldiers waiting for someone to give the command. The whole living room buzzed with leftover warmth from Thanksgiving, soft lights glowing, dishes still drying in the kitchen, and the smell of pie drifting in from the hallway. Everyone seemed full, sleepy, and content until my mother stepped forward with that special kind of smile she saved for moments when she knew she had an audience. She stood proudly in front of all of us, her children, her grandchildren. Everyone gathered after a long holiday meal, and you could practically feel the excitement rolling off her. During dinner, she had hinted again and again that she had a surprise for the grandkids. Each time she mentioned it, she glanced around the table like a performer, checking whether the crowd was paying attention. Now that dessert was done, she finally had her stage. "I have something special for my grandchildren," she announced, moving closer to the coffee table so nobody could possibly miss her. Her voice rose a little as she said it, the way she always spoke when she wanted to be sure people noticed her generosity. $500 for each of you to help with Christmas shopping, college savings, or whatever you might need. I believe in investing in family. Around the room, heads lifted and eyes brightened. My son Marcus sat on the ottoman near the fireplace, long legs stretched, one ankle resting on his knee. He was 17, quiet, thoughtful, and tall, and he wore the navy shirt he had ironed himself. Before we drove the full hour to get there, his cousins sat around him, and the second they heard $500, their phones dropped, conversation stopped, and all attention zeroed in on the envelopes. My mother picked one up like it was some prize chosen from a showcase. "Brittany, sweetheart, come here." My sister Susan's daughter, blonde, bubbly, and 15, bounced over with the exact enthusiasm my mother loved. She opened the envelope, letting the 20s and 50 seconds show, and squealed loudly enough for the room to applaud on cue. Next came Tyler, Greg's son, then Madison, then Joshua, then Olivia, then Andrew. One by one, every cousin walked away with an envelope full of cash. 6 envelopes for 6 grandchildren. Except Marcus. He stayed where he was, hands folded in his lap, his expression calm but quiet. He didn't fidget, didn't ask, didn't even look confused. Just waited, the firelight flickering across his face. Then my Aunt Olivia spoke up. "What about Marcus?" My mother didn't even blink. "This is for my actual grandchildren," she said smoothly, almost cheerfully. "Marcus has a different situation." The entire room froze in that sharp, painful silence when everyone knows something awful has happened, but nobody wants to breathe first. Heat rose in my face. "Mom," I began. "Jennifer, please." She cut me off, her voice firm and dismissive. "I'm helping my family. Marcus should be grateful he was included in dinner. Not every family would be so welcoming." Greg gave a strained laugh. "She's got a point. I mean, technically, he should just be grateful food." My mother finished, and somehow that cruel little sentence hit harder than the exclusion itself. A few relatives chuckled like it was a harmless joke. Marcus didn't move. He just watched while his cousins counted their cash, their bills rustling like tiny reminders. I stood, pulled out my phone, and quietly snapped a photo of my mother holding the last envelope, the cousins grinning around their money, and Marcus alone, seated near the fireplace. "Marcus," I said softly, "get your coat. We're leaving." "Jennifer, don't be dramatic," my mother scolded. "I gave you a generous Thanksgiving dinner, but I was already helping my son to his feet." In the car, Marcus stayed silent for at least 10 minutes, the road stretching dark ahead of us. Finally, he said, "I'm okay, Mom." "You shouldn't have to be okay with that," I told him. "What she did was wrong. She doesn't define me. You taught me that." "I know," I whispered, my hands tight on the wheel. "But it still hurts." "Yeah," he said quietly, "it does." We drove home to our small apartment, far smaller than my mother's house, smaller than my siblings' homes too. But it was ours, and in that space, we had built something steady, something loving, something that didn't look down on anyone. What my mother didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Marcus had done something remarkable. 6 weeks earlier, he had learned he'd won the Davidson Fellow Scholarship, one of the most respected awards in the country for high-achieving students who completed major projects. Marcus had spent 2 years developing a tutoring app made especially for students in foster care and group homes, kids like he had once been before. I adopted him at 9 years old. The scholarship came with $75,000, and Marcus had made a decision that stunned even me. He wanted to donate $50,000 of it to our local community foundation to create a permanent scholarship for foster youth entering college. I got help when I needed it, he told me. Now I want to help someone else. The foundation had been thrilled. They'd even contacted the local newspaper, which planned to run the story the day after Thanksgiving. Marcus had actually tried to mention it at dinner, but my mother talked right over him, too busy going on about my sister's kitchen remodel. Friday morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. The article had gone live. Local teen donates $50,000 scholarship to help foster youth. There was a photo of Marcus holding an oversized check beside the foundation director. The article described his perfect GPA, his national merit recognition, his Davidson Award, his full scholarship to MIT, and his years of volunteering. It talked about his app and how much it could help kids who often felt forgotten. One line made my eyes fill. Marcus Thompson didn't have to think twice about sharing his success. Adopted from foster care at age 9 by single mother Jennifer Thompson, he says his past taught him the value of community, and now he's paying it forward. I read the article 3 times, then I opened Facebook, posted the link, added the photo I'd taken the night before, and wrote, yesterday my mother gave $500 to each grandchild except Marcus. She said he should be grateful for food since he's not actually family. Today, Marcus donated $50,000 to help students who need it. Character isn't measured in cash, it's measured in compassion. By lunch, it had 200 shares. By dinner, by Saturday morning 50. Comments flooded in. Messages, reposts, screenshots, every platform, every group. People were stunned by my mother's cruelty and amazed by Marcus' generosity. Foster care groups shared it. Education blogs wrote about it. Donations poured in. Over $15,000 added to Marcus' fund in just 2 days. By Sunday evening, regional news covered it. By Monday, national networks ran the headline. Teen excluded from family gifts donates $50,000 to others. My phone rang constantly, mostly angry siblings. You're making mom look bad, Susan complained. Mom made herself look bad, I answered. You should have kept this private. She made it public when she humiliated him in front of the whole family. Then Tuesday, my mother finally called. Jennifer, you need to take that post down, she demanded. People are saying terrible things about me. What kind of things? That I'm cruel, a terrible grandmother. I was asked to step down from the community foundation board. Her voice trembled. This isn't funny. My friends have seen it. Everyone knows. Everyone knew Thursday night too. I reminded her. They watched you exclude a 17-year-old boy and laugh about it. Marcus isn't my real grandson. You adopted him. That's different. He's been my son for 8 years. He's your grandson. You just never accepted him. I gave him Thanksgiving dinner and he donated $50,000 to strangers. Funny how the poor kids show more generosity than the wealthy grandmother who couldn't even give him $500. She hung up. The interview requests kept coming. Marcus agreed to tune with a local station because they promised to focus on the scholarship fund rather than the family drama. I watched him on TV, poised and articulate. Some people measure worth and money. Hesed, I measure it in impact. I want to help students who are in situations similar to what I experienced. Foster care is hard. Aging out of the system is terrifying. If I can make that transition easier for even a few people, then I'll consider my scholarship money well spent. What about your grandmother's exclusion on Thanksgiving? The interviewer asked gently. That hurt, Marcus admitted. I won't lie about that, but it also reminded me why I wanted to create this fund. Because being told you are not good enough, not worthy, no trial family, that's something too many kids in foster care experience. If mystery helps people understand that kind of rejection and do better, then maybe something good came from it. The interviewer's eyes were shining. You're a remarkable young man. I'm just trying to be better than the worst moments I've experienced. The clip went viral too, 50,000 shares. Then H100000 comments poured in from foster parents, former foster kids, teachers, and social workers. Marcus became a symbol of resilience and character. My mother Beckham a symbol of something else entirely. Her country club friends distanced themselves. Her church group was uncomfortable around her. That community foundation where she'd served on the board for 15 years asked for her resignation. It's hypocritical. They told her to serve on a board supporting disadvantaged youth while publicly excluding and demeaning your adopted grandson. She lost her position, lost friendships, couldn't go to the grocery store without people recognizing her. Ask that grandmother from the viral post. 6 weeks after Thanksgiving, she showed up at our apartment with a check, $5,000, she said, holding it out to Marcus. What I should have given you with interest. Marcus looked at the check, looked at her. I don't want your money. Don't be foolish. $5,000 is significant. I donated $50,000 to help people I've ever met. Why would I accept $5,000 from someone who called me not real? Marcus, I'm trying to make this right. You're trying to make yourself feel better. That's different. He handed the check back. I don't need your money. I never did. What I needed was to be treated like I mattered, like I was part of the family. You couldn't give MIT, so your money doesn't mean anything. My mother's hand shook as she took the check back. I raised you, Jennifer. This is how you taught him to speak to his grandmother. I taught him to know his worth, something you treat very hard to convince him he didn't. She left. We didn't hear from her for months. Christmas came and went. We volunteered at a homeless shelter serving food. The local news covered that too because Marcus had become so mean. They followed more Denons came in for the scholarship fund. This spring the fund had grown to $65,000. The community foundation announced that he'd be able to help 20 students with grants ranging from $2,000 to $5,000 each. Marcus' name was on the fund, not Thompson's scholarship, though that was my last name. He named it the Second Chances Scholarship Fund because of Orion deserves a second chance. He explained even people who got excluded from families, even people who thought they didn't matter. He graduated high school in May, valedictorian, full scholarship to MIT. The local paper ran another feature. My mother showed up at graduation uninvited. She sat in the back, cried when Marcus gave his speech and tried to approach him at their reception afterward. I'm so proud of you, she said. Marcus was polite but distant. Thank you. All your success, your scholarship, MIT. It's wonderful. Yes, it is. I always knew you were a special. Marcus looked at her for a long moment. No, you didn't. You told me I should be grateful for food, that you wasn't real family, that poor kids like me didn't deserve the same gifts as your actual grandchildren. I was wrong. I see it now. You see it now because Veryl sees it, because your friends saw the article, because you left your board position. You don't see it because you actually understand what you did wrong. That's not fair. Neither is giving 6 kids $500 while Effie's vent kid watches. Neither is laughing about per kids being grateful for food. Neither is 8 years of making me feel like I didn't belong. He walked away. She stood there holding her program, crying. We drove home together, Marcus and I. He was quiet, processing. Did I handle that okay? He finally asked. You handled it perfectly. You were honest and kind. You set boundaries. That's all you can do. I don't hate her. I know. But I don't need her validation anymore. I spent years wanting her to see me. Do really see. Now I realize that's not me problem to fix. I know who I am. The community knows who I am. That's enough. That's more than enough. In August, we moved. Marcus to MIT. Helped him set up dorm room, met his roommate toward the campus. My mother wasn't there. She'd sent a card and a check. Mark donated the check to his scholarship fund. The Second Chances Scholarship Fund helped its first recipient that fall, a girl aging out of foster care starting at community college. She sent Marcus a thank you note. Because of you, I can afford textbooks and still eat. You saved me. Marcus kept that note on his desk next to the photo I'd taken on Thanksgiving. The one that had changed everything. In the photo, you can see 6 kids holding money, my mother, smiling, and Marcus sitting quietly by the fireplace. He said he kept it to remember where he came from, to remember that worth isn't given by others, it's built by yourself. My mother's $500 bought my nieces and nephews some presents that year. Marcus' $50,000 changed 20 lives. If your family ever tried to play favorites, watch what happens when the quiet one finally flips the script.